أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. My dear brothers, we're going to study a topic which was on my mind for maybe the last 7 actually years, and to think about this topic in itself is probably the most difficult one, probably the most difficult topics which I'll ever probably discuss with you. Not because it's a complicated topic, it's a very straightforward topic, but the problem is where to start from and where to finish, because it's something which we our own selves need to be aware of, and if we're not aware of the consequences of this particular subject matter, we could fall into it. And it could be we have characteristics of this as well. And in fact, Hassan al-Basri, he said very nicely, he said, the believer, he fears nifaq. Yeah, he fears nifaq. And as for the munafiq, he doesn't fear it. So he's very easily for him to fall into it. For the munafiq, he'll fall into it and he'll never fear it. When you say to him, this could be nifaq, this could be a characteristic of the munafiqeen, he said, what's this got to do with me? Like we see today when people, you tell them, you say, Ya Shaykh, ittaqillah, ittaqillah, tell your mother, ittaqillah, tell your father, ittaqillah, tell your family, ittaqillah. You know Arabic? Where you study from? Who's your university? What's your Shaykh? Who's your dad? Who's your mom? What's that got to do with anything? What's my mother or father got to do with anything? So he starts to what? Become abusive. Which is one of the signs of the munafiq is what? At the time of, when it becomes, when you debate with him, when you discuss with him, he doesn't go inside his favor, then he starts to become argumentative. He starts to become defensive. He starts to let his ego come out. His shaitan is running through the veins of the son of Adam alayhi salam. But for some of us, the shaitan could be behind us, or in front of us, or sideways. And some of us, the shaitan can be as close as your own jugular vein, meaning your own qareen, your own individual shaitan. But our work as a mu'min, as a Muslim, as muwahideen, should be to try and distance that shaitan far away from us. And that's why Umar ibn Khattab, and I'll paraphrase here, he said the cause of the defeat will never be your enemy. Your enemy will not be the cause of your own defeat, but rather it will be your own sins that you carry your own self. But nowadays we find this extremism taking place where people don't want to have this moderation when it comes to understanding exactly what I just said. What did I just say? That your sins will be the cause of your own defeat. But don't become extreme with that. Don't become extreme with that understanding. So you believe that the sins will be the cause of your own defeat, and then therefore all you ever work on is your own individual sins, trying to remove them, but never actually the fard which you're meant to be doing. The fard, the wajib, will never ever be suspended because you are a fasiq. Why? Because sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said this deen will be supported even by the hands of a fasiq fajr. So this imperfections that we have is something that we'll continuously work upon. We'll continuously try to better our own selves with. Why? Because this is the aim of the Muslim. This is the aim of the Muslim. All the time you commit mistake. The best from the sons of Adam al-Islam are those who make mistakes but realize their own mistakes. And they said, I was wrong. That's Bani Adam. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, and I'll begin here now. In Sahih Muslim, on the authority of Abu Hurairah, on Yawm al-Qiyamah would be brought forth a man. And I'll begin with this hadith. Will be brought forth one man. And it will be asked from him, what did you do with your own life? What did you do with all of the ni'mah which was bestowed upon you? What did you do with your own self? And he will turn around and say, I was from amongst those who stood up and I fought in the cause of Allah fi sabilillah. I fought in the cause of Allah and I was killed as a martyr, as a shaheed, for your own sake. Allah will say to this man, you lie. You lie because you done this act because, why? You wanted to show off. Shirk al-Riya, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, is the shirk that I fear for my ummah the most. And that shirk would creep into this ummah faster than the black ant on the black rock on the black night. Meaning it will come so fast inside this ummah. Shirk al-Riya. The shirk of what? Doing an action, doing a deed, but not for the sake of Allah. Doing the deed for the sake of showing off. So ikhlas, sincerity in every deed is very, very important. Being sincere, not just in one deed, but in all deeds. And the thing which the ulama, they used to say was what? The thing that we found the most difficult to ever achieve was our own intention. The second person he mentioned was the scholar, The man will be asked, what did you do? So the second man will be asked, what did you do? He said, what did I give for this ummah? What did I do for the sake of Allah? I spent my entire youth, my adulthood studying from university to degree to this to that, just so that I could spread the deen of Allah. But the point I want to mention here is, these two individuals thought that they were fine. They were so fine that when the question was given to them by Allah and will be given to them on Yawm al-Hisab, they were confident enough to answer Allah. They were lying to their own selves, but they didn't seek to deceive Allah. But what did they do? They deceived their own selves. And Allah, when He describes the munafiqeen inside the Quran, He said the munafiqeen are those who deceive Allah, His Messenger, and the believers, but they don't know it. They don't see it. Meaning that is how dangerous it is. What did Allah, what did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? That Allah will then say, you lie, and these people will be dragged on their faces to the hellfire. Meaning all of their deeds would be rendered completely void, completely useless. Now Muawiyah, when he heard this particular hadith, he started crying to the extent that he fell unconscious. Meaning he was so scared. And Muawiyah, for your information, is Ahl Jannah. We believe he is a man of Jannah. He's somebody who was companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, when he woke up from this unconsciousness, he said, Allah and His Messenger have spoken the truth. By Allah, Allah and His Messenger have spoken the truth. And then he quoted a verse from the Quran that whoever seeks the dunya and its own dazzling, we will fulfill for them all their deeds upon it. Whoever was seeking the dunya and chasing after it, all of his deeds, if that's what your intention was, then that's where you will get your reward. And they will have nothing less than what they particularly deserve. Now, the problem is that this insincerity which people have inside their own hearts. Now, I want you to remember one key point here. These people were what? Insincere, but they didn't know it. Because of their insincerity, and because of our own insincerity and anybody's insincerity, it is a cause for a man to leave the sunnah. Leave the sunnah. And Ali ibn Abu Talib, he said, the number one enemy of the sunnah is what? Al-Hawah. The following of your own rational desires. The mother of all innovations nowadays, it is what? The mother of all innovations is what? The idea of Maslahah. Maslahah is what drives Ahl Irja, the Murjiya today, in justifying anything which is possible. So what we're in fact discussing here is the characteristics of the munafiqeen and this warning against this particular nifaq. So Allah said inside the Quran that those munafiqeen in chapter An-Nisa verse 145, they will be in the lowest grade of hellfire and no helper would they find for them. Meaning the munafiqeen, they're eligible for what? The greatest punishment in the hereafter. So what's the munafiq then? Very simply put, the munafiq is the one who conceals kufr and shirk, but he displays iman. Meaning he doesn't know it and you don't know it either. But there is a way of knowing it. The munafiq is what? The one who conceals kufr and shirk, but he displays iman. By his outwardly, you think he's Muslim. I could be munafiq, and I have to be worried that I'm going to be munafiq. And if you don't, any of you here fear that you are munafiqeen, then chances are you probably are munafiqeen. Why? Because Hassan al-Basri said so. He said the believer, he fears nifaq. The munafiq, he doesn't fear it. So he's guilty of that. He's worried about that. So the munafiqeen, they're eligible for the most punishment, but they appear Islamic. Contemporarily, why have I said that this is topic has taken me 7 years to think about? It hasn't taken me 7 years to prepare it. Prepared 7 years ago, a long time ago. That's not the problem here. The problem is where to start from, where to finish. How many points are there? It's an endless topic. And if it is endless, alhamdulillah. If this is the only subject that we study from now on until the time that we die and Allah takes our souls from our own body, alhamdulillah. At least it's something that which we could take benefit from. This subject matter, I will call it the characteristics and the attributes of the most deadliest disease today, which is what? Coconut Islam. The coconut Muslims. Coconut Islam. This is the disease, my dear brothers, of this vehement, evil ideology of extremism. And this extremism, the imams need to be warning on the mimbars This extremism has infected this ummah the way the rabies, it infects the dog, and the dog, it goes around and starts to infect all of the food around you. Imagine we're having some big biryani and we're having some big banquet, and we got all of the Deobandis and the Tabligis and the Talafis and the Matlis all coming along. The Talafis are bringing along their 99p chicken and chips because they're broke. And the Deobandis are, mashallah, hey, lo, good. Bade biryani hai, bade chicken hai, khao, piyo, shukr karo. Iman and yaqeen, all of this nonsense that they're going to come out with. But you got one dog there. The one dog comes and licks all of the food. That food is void for you, completely haram for you. Coconut Islam is what? And what is the coconut Muslim? Just to give you some of the highlights. That coconut Islam is what is deceiving the ummah today. Coconut Muslim today is the one who's lying to the Muslim ummah today, changing it and distorting it and changing the very divine texts. Now in the time of the hardship, you'll know those munafiqeen. They'll come out and they'll appear. But at the time of ease, you'll never know them. That's why we need to identify them. We need to study the characteristics of the coconut Muslims, of the coconut Muslims, to know their own attributes via the divine evidences in light of their own contemporary ideas and what they push forth, because there's many of those ideas that they do, and that will inshallah enable us to stay away from it. And that topic in itself is interconnected of studying about what the coconut Muslim is, because it's not just sufficient for us. It's not just sufficient for us to say this is the munafiq and these are the characteristics of the munafiqeen, because some of the ideas which are contemporary and new today, they never existed during the time of the munafiqeen of the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like some of those ideas, spurious ideas, I can throw out to you today. I'm going to be the one who's going to collect the zakah. Amalina alayha. The one who's the collector of the zakah outside of Darul Islam, inside Darul Kufr, but you take salary for your own self. This is what? A form of what? I don't want to call it nifaq, coconut Islam. Because the moment you say, ya aki, this is wrong, ya aki, but, you see now, following the own Hawah, following your own rational desires, following your own irja when it comes to voting for man-made law, when it comes to allying with the disbelievers, when it comes to opening up a masjid, anything that you can think of. I'm talking about 1,000,001 ideas. That is what? Coconut Islam. So the topic of coconut Islam or coconut Muslims and nifaq is interconnected with the subject matter of at-tawheed. Just as you would study tawheed, you need to study nifaq. Why? Because nifaq, if you don't study it, the hypocrites are what? What did they conceal? What was the two matters I mentioned? They conceal kufr and shirk. Okay? So likewise, when we need to study the subject matter of ilm al-tawheed, and ilmul rijal and ilmul riwaya and ilmul hadith and usul al-fiqh and ulumul Quran, we need to also be aware of kufr, shirk, nifaq and bid'ah, so we don't fall into it. We need to be aware of that. That is the extremism which we need to root out. And as a representative of the Muslim community, yes, I need to be somebody who can stand up against this extremism, because this is affecting our own daughters. Our daughters can go down this pathway of extremism, and this extremism in itself is something which could cost them their own life. It could cost them their own hereafter. It could cause them to go to the hellfire. It could cause them to become a dog of Jahannam. These evil Khariji ideas of the coconut Muslims, these evil Murji ideas, this innovation has no place in Islam. Islam is free from this.
Allah.
Say no to extremism.
Allah.
Say no to coconut Islam.
Allah.
That's right. This coconut Islam we need to get rid of. And it's not enough. It's enough condemnations. How many times are we going to come out and just condemn? It's enough. No, Muslims, no, we cannot say we condemn anymore. We cannot. Condemnation means what? Condemnation is just a cheap words from the mouth. Actions speak louder than words. We need to have our own prevent strategy. Yes.
Allah.
Yes.
Allah.
We need to have our own prevent strategy where we come forward with the correct ideas and take care of this what? Secular fundamentalism.
Allah.
Secular fundamentalism, and root it out from its own core. The coconut means what? Needs to be taken inside the hand and thrown against a brick wall. Smashed up into pieces. Yes. You know why? Because it's gone past its own sell by date. It's no longer fit for consumption. And just by the outside of it, you think it looks nice and hairy. No. Don't be fooled by the hair. You're being fooled by the hair of this American Muslim and this Somali Muslim and this Pakistani Muslim and all of these people who want to come out and say, how are you doing, my brothers and sisters? And then throwing their own baseball cap behind their own back. And you're thinking, now this is good Islam. Just because somebody's got some nice fancy videos and nice fancy Arabic, you're being fooled. You're being fooled. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, the thing that I fear for my ummah the most, more than the appearance of the Dajjal, is what? The appearance of what? Ulama su, misguided scholars. Ulama su, evil, wicked, evil scholars. I have to say it like that. Evil scholars. They're very nasty. The worst than one who will come with the one eye. Because some of them are already coming out with one eye already anyway, yeah? But these ones are coming out, they're coming with both eyes. Oh my God. And they go all of the fusha, all of the tajweed, all of the tilawat of the Quran. MashaAllah, they even got masjid. What masjid you got? You ain't got no masjid. MashaAllah. Very good. So they got all of that. And just as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about those khariji, evil ideas, what? That the Quran would not even go past their own throats. Yeah? Their deeds would not even be of anything. And they would leave the deen the way the arrow, it leaves the own bow. Let me give you some of the highlights of these coconut Muslims. They mislead the ummah via wrong context of particular events. And this one is probably something which pains my heart the most whenever I hear it. Because sometimes an event would happen, and rather than to find a formula or a solution in which you can find something which is practical as a solution for all parties, what do? They say that the cause...
Connect to the internet.
The cause of this particular... Even the iPhone knows about coconut Muslims. It said it's not available, you see. Yeah. The cause of these particular events is usually in relation to something which has occurred in regards to an effect. So everything has a cause, everything has a particular effect. So one of the highlights is they mislead the ummah via wrong context of particular events and placing them with inaccuracies and giving a distorted view of those particular events. One of them I will highlight to you, and I've heard this on maybe 2 occasions very recently by a same particular group of people. They say, Ya Aki, do you know why we are suffering so much? Do you know why we don't have any victory? Do you know why we don't have no Islamic state anywhere? This is what they say. They say, Ya Aki, the reason why we're in this particular situation is because we disobey Allah. Okay. Alright, okay. So in my mind, if you just stop there for a moment and I go to the ayah which I'm disobeying when Allah said this is fard upon you, like praying salah or doing the hajj or any other duty which is wajib and fard upon me, and I'm not doing it, what's the solution? You don't need to be a scholar to figure that one out. You obey. Simple as that. So if you're disobeying one commandment of Allah, look to that commandment of Allah and obey it. But what do? They take one historical event and apply it to every single reality, which is what? Battle of Uhud. Ghazwat al-Uhud. They say, Aki, do you know what happened in Battle of Uhud? The Sahaba, they disobeyed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told them to stay at the top of the mountain, and they came at the bottom, and therefore this Sahabi was killed, that Sahabi was killed, and as a consequence of that, they were defeated. But they don't ever finish the story. After the Battle of Uhud was finished and the Quraysh, they went back, they said, did you kill Muhammad? No. How are you winning? How did we win? How did we win? We didn't win this particular battle. And in fact, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he got the rest of his companions together and went on another expedition after that. So in the eyes of these secular fundamentalists, these coconut Muslims, they take the wrong context of this particular battle and they in fact attribute what? Attribute defeat to Rasulullah when he was never defeated. Those who were martyred in that particular battle, they are shuhada. They are what? People of Jannah. Yeah? Their fragrance is, something which we cannot even comprehend. Right? And then you have many personalities who arose in that particular battle, such as Nusayba, Amara, and she stood and guarded Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she was somebody who then fought in battles with Khalid bin Waleed as well as with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. This is one woman from the Sahabiyat. This is just to point out to you that the battle was never ever lost in that particular incident. But even if you just take the context of that particular battle of what these moderate Muslims and these coconut Muslims, what they're trying to highlight to us, they say, look, the Sahaba, they disobeyed Rasulullah and they went from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the mountain. Do you understand what was the materialistic defeat in that particular battle and what was the cause of the materialistic defeat in that particular battle? One issue. They were at the top of the mountain, they came to the top of the mountain. I'm sleeping inside my own bed and somebody is raiding me. How's that my own fault? I'm walking down the street and somebody is inviting me to vote for man-made law. Has that got something to do with that mountain over there? Who went down from the top of the mountain right now? No one's in any mountain right now. What are you talking about? You're inside some temple, which you call a masjid, and you're calling it a masjid. It's a mosque, really. It's like a mosquito. It's a Spanish word, in fact. So that's what we call them. They're not masjids, they're mosques, which is the Spanish word. Naam, tafaddal. Yeah, yani. Yeah, that's what they're good for. Just a couple of words here and there, a bit of biryani, and then you got a sign to join the police, vote for this person, make dua for Obama, make dua for Dawood. What rubbish is this? This is not Islam. This is what you call what? CIA manhaj, FBI fiqh. Yeah? The Gestapo Akida. Yeah, Nazi Islam. This is not Islam. This is what your own DIY Islam. So what do? They mislead the ummah via wrong context of particular events. These are just some of the highlights. I'm just highlighting. Haven't even started the actual topic yet. And another thing which they do is they misuse terms. They'll misuse terms. And by the way, we will go back to all of these incidents, all these highlights which I'm mentioning in further sessions, and we'll go into details with evidences, because I haven't given you evidences yet in how to refute all of these arguments. We need to know how to refute all of them. Okay, so they will use terms and give a wrong understanding of those terms. So they say, Yaki, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yaki, I got a leaflet here. This one says it's not allowed to vote for man-made, but you're giving it outside the masjid. Yeah? Where else am I going to give it? This is where you're the one who's just standing on the minbar and you just called everybody to vote for man-made law. So of course, we're the one who's witness to the munkar. The place of the munkar is where I'm going to address the munkar. Where do you want me to go with this leaflet? Go home and sit in my bed and look at it. Me and my 12 teddy bears. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't have 12 teddy bears, by the way. Yeah? No, I'm going to address it here. Yaki, this is fitna. Yaki, you're going to make trouble for us. This is fitna what you're doing. Yaki, you're going to make fitna for us. Yaki, arrest him. Fitna, he never understood it. Fitna is what Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said fitna is kuffar wal shirk. As mentioned in the ayah of what? Of Surah Al-Baqarah as well. In the tafsir of these particular ayat of chapter Al-Baqarah, where Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said the fitna is worse than what? Killing. Fitna is worse than killing. Is what? Kufr and shirk. And other terms which they'll distort and take the meaning out of them, completely out of context, and they'll say, Yaki, what are you doing now? So you're back again the following week. What you went there in the first place for, I don't know, understand. You're better off staying at home. Yeah. So you went all the way over there for the election leaflet. He got you arrested. You came on bail, for example, yeah, for causing some, trouble in the public arena, according to him. And you came back the following week. Now you got a new leaflet. You thought, okay, maybe I got this wrong. Maybe I started from the wrong angle. Here I got a new leaflet for you. Kufr bit Taghut. I'm going to talk about Kufr bit Taghut. How to reject Taghut. Yaki, what's this now? Yaki, this is talking about Taghut, Taghut, mashallah. Yaki, we know what is Taghut. Taghut is the washing machine. Taghut is the fridge freezer. Yaki, Taghut is the Coca-Cola bottle. When you shake it too much, right? And it overspills. Yaki, we know what is Taghut. Did Bilal know what was Taghut? So for him, their understanding of reality and definition of particular terms is completely void of any evidence. It's what they think and what they feel, and completely misleading the ummah by that. Other thing is, another highlight of them is where at the time of fitna, at the time of kufr and shirk being imposed upon the Muslim ummah, and when the Muslim ummah is in itself suffering, they like to demoralize the ummah. Yes, you. I don't know you, but I think it was you. You didn't wake up for Salatul Fajr. That's why they got bombed inside Palestine. Did you wake up for Salatul Fajr? Have you done Hajj yet? Did you man ain't even done Hajj yet, and man wants to go over there and do this and that, and you just want to kill a nigga, yeah? And that's what they do. At the time of what? When he can't particularly express himself, then he starts to become racist. His asabiya, his nationalism, it comes out. This would never occur to us. Why? Because we are the Somali Muslims. This would never occur to us because we are the Pakistani Muslims. And some people, they do this. They completely detach themselves from what? The suffering of the Muslim ummah, and they start to demoralize the muwahideen. Another thing which they'll do is they'll restrict particular terms in their correct meanings, don't get me wrong, but they restrict them to a reality which does not exist today. So for example, Yaki, did you know about the shirk of Lat wal Uzza? Well, who's worshipping Lat and Uzza right now? What are you talking about? Do you know about the statues that were worshipped during the time of Nuh alayhi salam? Yaki, we know about them ones, but no one's doing them anymore. So what's the big deal right now? Yeah, we need to study about them, but why not relate it to the idols which are being actually worshipped right now? So the shirk, he will never apply it to the reality. When you ask him, what's the object of shirk which exists right now? Tell me, what shirk are people doing nowadays? Yaki, the grave worshippers. What grave worshippers? There are no grave worshippers. Literally, I'm telling you, there are no such thing as grave worshippers today. There are people who they have bid'ah practices and Barelwis, and maybe they seek intercession and help from the graves. But go to East London. Go to any graveyard at 4 o'clock in the morning. Are you telling me you're going to find 4 of those little elves running around, yeah, with their hoods on their heads and little wooden swords and candle in the other one? They say, well, let's look for the graves. Let's protect it from the Wahhabis. No, they're not doing that. And nothing like that is happening nowadays. And this Talafi, he thinks he's some mujahid running around with a dress and a abaya on, yeah, and he's going all the way to the graveyard with his little, his stick inside his in the back of his gob, and his one slipper on because another Madkhali stole the other one, and he's looking around for the Barelwis. Where are they? Yaki, jihad is fardul ain. We need to fight them here. Jihad is not fardul ain for you. No, Weight Watchers is more appropriate for you because you've been eating too much, and maybe some laser eye treatment as well, because one of them eyes is getting kind of weak, because some of them they start poking their own eyes out because they want to be like the ulama. Hayd al-kabar al-ulama, and that's where they go run around, fake Salafis, Madkhalis, walking around pretending to follow the Salaf, pretending that they know all of the language of the Salaf as well. Yani, naam, aki, how are you? Kayfa halik? Alhamdulillah. Wa anta? Nam. What about after that? What are you doing? What's for lunch? Where did all the Arabic go then? Why pretend to be half Arab? Wanta, naam, tafaddal, kayfa halik? Sa. And after that, all of the Arabic goes out the window. After that, it's all like, what are you saying, fam? You know what I mean? Or something like that. All of the slang starts coming out, all of the English. If you're somebody who can't speak Arabic, no problem. Don't pretend to be the Arab then, isn't it? Yeah, running around and it's like freezing cold, -10, and he's got a thobe all the way up above his knees. Above his knees, ya Sheikh. What's going on? It's freezing out there. I understand you want to emulate the Prophet ﷺ, but I'm sure at the time when it was cold, at least he would wrap himself up. No need to try and overdo it. Be Abu Taqwa and trying to come out and try to display, look, I'm a man of Taqwa, freezing with your knobbly knees. And he says, I'm going to fight you. How are you going to fight me? Hey, you can't even protect yourself from the cold, and you're going to try and fight me. At least I've got a coat on. You know what I mean? At least I got pajamas on. At least I got something which is covering my aura. And these people, there's nothing that they don't need to worry about protecting their aura, because there's nothing there in the first place. Yeah. Anyway, right? So they restrict terms such as shirk and don't apply it to the reality, and they have harshness towards the believers. This is another one of their own highlights. Harshness towards the believers, behaving like bullies. Did you wake up for Salatul Fajr? Did you do this? Did you do that? Do you know it's your own fault? This is what you find. The contemporary coconut shayuk, these evil ulama, they come out and they start to say this. Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you know that was your own fault? Did you know? I mean, you didn't know that, but I'm telling you, it's your own fault. And then you got David at the back, and he's like, yeah, you tell him that, man. It's a good job. Tell him they didn't pray that afternoon prayer, Fajr, isn't it? Yeah, tell them that. They don't know that one. Okay, doesn't matter. What difference does it make anyway? Just keep telling them. Yeah, just keep telling them. And this is what you find. Coconut shayuk, you'll find they never get dispraised by the Taghut. In fact, they get praised. They get praised by the Tawahid. So the real alim is the one who never gets praised by the Taghut. He's the one who's condemned by the Taghut. Why? Because he's somebody who's an inheritor of the Anbiya, the Risala, the message of the Anbiya, which is what? An a'budullah wa ijtanibut Taghut. Not coming close towards a Taghut. Another one of their attributes is this innovation of Maslahah. And we can go through all of the arguments and all of the evidences at a later date. But one of the things, just to begin the argument with, the moment you open up the discussion, Yaki, this innovation of Maslahah, it's not an innovation. We're not saying that Maslahah is a bid'ah in itself, but the innovation of your understanding of the term Maslahah, where it's allowed and where it's not allowed. Before you've even asked him for any evidence, he's already got his evidence prepared. You know what his evidence is? His own sayings, his own words, from his own desires. And one of them I like to repeat a lot, because they say a lot. They say, Yaki, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? You know what they say, isn't it? What can we do? It becomes like a song, what can we do? The bombing ups in Palestine. What can we do? Sham is going to get, completely slaughtered tonight. Raqqa is going to be completely gone. What can we do? We have to vote for man-made law. Do we? Oh, what can we do? What can we do, innit? And what can we do, isn't it? I mean, it's just us, isn't it? I mean, we have to get it. I mean, how else are we going to get it, isn't it? I mean, I've got a mortgage on my house, but what can we do, isn't it? I mean, now we have to get a permit from the kuffar just to do a dawah stall. But what can we do, isn't it? But your sheikh is misleading the ummah. But what can we do? I'll make money from this as well, isn't it? This is complete rubbish. So they rush to mafahim, distorted concepts, the way the dog runs to a bowl of stew. These distorted concepts of maslahah, interest and benefit, they run to them so fast. Why? Because he's like a dog who's led by his own desires. But what does a dog look like? Dog has 4 legs, we know that. He has a tail, we know all of that. But one thing one thing you'll notice about a dog, and the cats don't do this. The cats have a little bit more eloquence. Cats are like lions. They keep their tongue inside their own mouth, but they'll show you their teeth now and then, because they're lions. But the dog, what's the thing that he shows you all of the time? His tongue. Right? I'm not going to do it just in case someone takes a snapshot and then starts to make something bigger. See, look, dogs of Jahannam, you know, they got their tongues out. But you are the dogs of Jahannam, in fact. You are the true dogs of Jahannam. Why? Because you follow your own desires. All the time your tongue is out. Voting. You need to do that. Interest. Benefit. Yes. Go for shit. All the time. Tongue is all the time running out. And every time you give him a bottle of water, it's not good enough. Yaki, this one is not allowed. Do the other one. Yeah, but what can we do? Like that. So this is complete rubbish what they do. So they completely follow this own Hawah and this own innovation of Maslahah. The way the dog, it chases everything with his own tongue out. Not only that, another highlight of the coconut Muslims is they leave the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as if it's some type of a storybook. They treat the Quran and the Qasas al-Anbiya, the stories of the Anbiya, they treat it as if it's some bedtime story without any particular context. Noah alayhi salam, you know, subhanallah, you look at him, I mean, look what he done. He was building the boat. Hold on a minute, why don't you start from the beginning, isn't it? What exactly he was sent for, what exactly was occurring. He was building the boat to save the animals. They make it out as if Noah alayhi salam would come on, you know, Channel 4. You know, one of them adverts which comes on. Donald the Duck. He's very ill nowadays. Donate £1 and we can save Donald the Duck. That's not Noah alayhi salam. What are you talking about? Noah alayhi salam wasn't here just to save the animals like some WWF, you know, some World Wildlife Federation of Animals or RSPCA. You know, this, I mean, look at this one. This one was, you know, Norman the pigeon fell over and bumped his head and started to say that kafir doesn't mean kafir inside the Quran. Well, Norman definitely needs to go to the RSPCA and have some medicine to fix himself up, yeah? Or this other one, the blue-eyed one. Actually, that is Norman, isn't it? No, which one's that one? Was that Norman? Yeah, that's it. Norman is the blue one, yeah. Blue-eyed one, yeah. And the other dogs, so dogs have different eyes as well, yeah, different coloured eyes. But all of them, they'll start to treat the seerah and all of the as if it's just some bedtime story. Noah alayhi salam was just calling the people for what? Was he not calling the people to Islam laylan wa nahara, 950 years, night and by day? Calling them to Islam? And what did he do at the end of it? He wasn't just a case of he was just trying to save the animals. Lut alayhi salam, what did he oppose? And then they treat it like a bedtime story, but don't apply it to the particular reality. Lut alayhi salam was opposed for one particular hukum. So when more than one hukum and various ahkam are violated today, then where are you? The one who is shahid, the one who is witness upon the munkar, and his face did not even turn red. He did not even hate it from the heart. Rasulullah said, this man doesn't have iman equal to that of a mustard seed. I don't know how big a mustard seed is, but he doesn't have no iman. The one who saw the munkar, let him change it by his hand. If he cannot, let him speak out against it. If he cannot, then let him hate it inside his own heart. The attributes of those coconut Muslims today is when any munkar occurs which affects the ummah, their face does not even turn red. They don't even say anything bad about it. I remember when there's something happened, I can't remember what it was. It was a number of children, in fact, yeah, about 16 children were brutally bombed by the Assad regime. And we were sitting inside one so-called masjid, which is actually like a public toilet. And he's sitting there and he's talking about sabr and all these other things, and never talking about sabr of obedience and sabr in its own context. Yaki, we need to have sabr. You know, sometimes, you know, brothers dig each other with their elbows and they come with wet feet inside the mosque, and maybe you get a little bit upset during the salah. Have sabr, have sabr, have sabr. I've got something very important to tell you. And I'm thinking, oh, subhanallah. You give the benefit of the doubt. You give the benefit of the doubt, benefit of the doubt, benefit of the doubt. And now he's going to come with it. He came with it. He came with the most important news. Brothers, there was one other thing I was supposed to mention to you. It's a very important issue. We need volunteers to clean the wudu area. What? Aye, the 16 children are being killed over there. I'm not asking you to say anything which is going to be illegal, but at least say, that was wrong. Remember the children inside your own dua. We're not sitting here and saying we demand something from someone else which we our own selves should be doing. Because that's another thing which people can point the finger and say, why are you asking him to say something when you should be saying your own self? Yeah, I say it, but he's bigger than me, so he should be saying it. How about that one, right? Huh? He should be saying it. He's a scholar, he's the one who knows the 6 books of Hadith. I don't know any book of Hadith. How about that? I know about 200 Hadith, 300 Hadith, 500, maybe 1,000 off by heart with no chain of narration. This man, he said, no, 6 books of Hadith. Oh, that's a lot of Hadith, isn't it? Half of the Quran, he knows the Arabic language. He can recite the Quran to you in 18 different languages. How come he doesn't know what the meaning of munkar, ta'hud, fitna, shirk, kufr, nifaq is? Why not? Then they make issues. Well, what it is, the man is blind, he's only got one eye. Then tell him to shut up and sit down over there, isn't it then? Why? You wouldn't hire someone who's got one eye to come and clean your own bathroom and your own toilet. So why is it that man who's blind, you get him to run on the minbar? How does that work out? What happened today is I've got a car and it's not running properly, and I'm thinking of getting car insurance on it, or maybe getting a mortgage. Show me the paperwork. He can't make out a difference. What is it you're showing him? You can't. He doesn't know whether he's looking at an iPad or a toilet paper. It doesn't make no difference to him because he's completely blind. This one, it means blind when he wants to be, and when he can see, isn't it? But when the paycheck starts coming in, and we need to collect money for the mosque, boom, both eyes open after that, isn't it? Jazakallah, 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 jazakallah. Gold minbar being built, gold house being built, kotiya and all of this type of business, and big villages being built back home, and cousins are coming in with free visas and all this sort of business, and all. Well, you know which one's his cousin? It's usually the one with the Hoover who cleans up the mosque every morning. Yeah, and his other deputy in charge as well, the other mujahid, from the great mujahideen who's cleaning the toilet every morning. Yeah, this is complete rubbish, and they think that these are the Taif al-Mansura, these are the victorious group. Yeah, and because they come out and pray Jummah, they'll even give themselves another title, al-Ghuraba. MashaAllah, just because you pray Jummah, you become guru, Garib. Ajib Garib. Yes, indeed, you are Ajib Garib. So they leave the seerah of the Prophet and they treat it like a storybook, and they'll say stuff like, we need to be wise. How can we speak out? They have this irja in their own tawheed, so they'll say things like hikmah, all this type of nonsense. But in the end, my dear brothers, only the mu'min will be afraid of all of this, what I've just described. I know it sounds funny, but only the mu'min will be afraid of being the coconut munafiq Muslim. By the way, when I say Muslim means the one who lives in the dark. Muslim, mashallah, that's good. Muwahid, mu'min, that's good. But Muslim, that's not good. And even these other ideas now, okay, what do you mean by coconut Muslim or coconut Muslim? What's wrong with moderate Muslim? We're following the middle path. Yeah. Middle path between who? Everyone can be claiming the middle path. Khawarij there, Murji'ah there, Ahl Sunnah. So which one are you in middle? Because we haven't got an equal number there. You got something uneven there. That means you could be any one of them, isn't it? You're just bouncing around like some pinball machine. So really they say that they're Ahl Sunnah, middle path. What they mean is they're middle path between what? Between all three. You never thought that one could work out? Because they always say, no, because there's only 1, 2 and 3, you have to be one of them, and one of them will go into 2, which will be on either side. No, it's not. Because if you got one there in front of you, then you're in the middle, bang, you're what? Murji, Ikhwani, Khariji, Salafi, Talafi, what? Complete dog, coconut Muslim. Because you got characteristics of all three. Little bit of Ahl Sunnah, don't get me wrong, because there's different grades of coconut. You get some from South America, you get some from Jamaica. You just like bananas, you get them. Coconut Muslims are different types. You get the extreme form of coconut Muslim. Yeah, that's the one, for example, he's got them skinny jeans on and he's got some hair flying all the way up in the sky, Justin Bieber look going on, yeah. And he's telling you, in my own time, I'm gonna start, practicing the deen. No difference between him and a sister who says, in my own time, I'm gonna start covering myself. Iman hasn't entered my own heart just yet. What do we call you then? So that's the type of physic that you find from those kind of people, which has gone completely, way too far. They'll be like, well, Allah says this in this ayah, and Allah says that in another ayah. What do you think? Yeah, what do you mean? What do you think? Who says we're allowed to think? No, you can't think. There's no freedom of thought. and this is what universities which they produce, alienated Muslims, alienated from the divine text, and they start to make up their own deen. There's a consequence of freedom within the West. That's why no Muslim sister, in particular as Muslim sister I'll mention, should go to any college within the West. Not allowed. Not allowed whatsoever. Why? Freemixing and this idea of freedom. Freedom to do whatever you wish. This idea of, oh, no, but they're going to ban the hijab. Good, let them ban the hijab. They're banning the hijab in the college. Good, she shouldn't be going there in the first place. Who said that the hukum for it to be suspended or fard was something which is going to be dictated by the kafir and we were going to accept it in the first place? So the sister, she wears hijab because they allow it. And the sister, she doesn't wear hijab because they don't allow it. No. You wear the hijab, don't go to the college, and if they give you a fine, tear it up and throw it in between their legs.
Allāh.
Simple as that. You don't obey no man-made law. You don't obey no law of the land. No, we obey Allah's law. That's it. Simple as that. And that means, yes, we live by the Sharia inside our own house. Yes. So it becomes upon what? The Muslim men then to become what? Khalifs inside their own house. You need to be somebody who's having khilafah inside your own house. Sharia inside your own house. Sharia for my own home. Yes, that's right. They say, Aki, you want Sharia? Have you got Sharia inside your own house? Yeah, I have. And what? Come inside my own house, you'll find out what happens. Yeah, I've got Sharia inside my own house. Don't pray, there's a couple of slaps waiting for you. Yeah, I'll kick you out. Don't say Bismillah before you eat the food. Yeah, no food for you. My food. You can't have it. Oh, but it's very nice. Big plate of biryani. Was. For you, it was. Now you can eat the spoon. How about that? Yeah. There's maslahah within that. Maybe some lead poisoning or something like that. Yeah, or the aluminium gets choked inside your own ear. I don't know how it's going to eat anyway. Yeah, I can't eat with my own right hand. What rubbish is that? What do you mean you can't eat with your own right hand? If you're hungry and you've got no hands, what are you going to do? You're going to use your toes, innit? You'll get your foot and pick up the biryani thing and throw it up inside your own mouth, and you'll eat it. It's not a problem. The little bone, it'll go inside your own mouth. You know, don't say I can't eat with my own right hand. No, I'm left-handed. No, you're not left-handed. How about we break your own left hand, yeah, and then we'll see what you can do with your right hand or your left hand. So I don't know what point I was on anyway, but anyway, this coconut Islam, so this grades of different coconuts, they're different types. So this is an extreme form. Then you have the other ones who are like a little bit like Ahl Sunnah. So they wear the thobe, they wear the kameez, but they say, Yaki, what can we do? Yaki, we're middle path. You know, if we don't say this, then you know what's going to happen, isn't it? If we don't do this, then you know what's going to happen, isn't it? He's somebody who's led by his own desire. Being reported in Sahih Bukhari on the authority of Ibn Abi Mulaika, who said, I met 30 companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and each one of them feared becoming what? A munafiq. I met 30 companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and each one of them was afraid of becoming a munafiq. And none of them said that he was as strong as Jibreel and Mikail, the two malaika. Jibreel and Mikail. None of the companions ever said that they had iman as strong as Jibreel and as Mikail. And as Al-Hasan al-Basri said, I mentioned this now for the third time, I know, but it's only the believer, he said, who fears nifaq, and only the munafiq who feels safe from it. That narration of Sahih Bukhari is found in Kitab al-Iman, the book of Iman, chapter 36. Sahih Bukhari. Over 30 companions, they feared hypocrisy. How is it today somebody says, I don't fear nifaq? Or how is it somebody cannot sit in private, have this, this seclusion, just him and his own Lord, and it's good to have this, wallahi, it's good to have this, and say, I fear becoming munafiq, and raising your hands and making a dua. Like Ibrahim alayhi salam, he said in chapter Ibrahim, chapter 14, verse 35, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, with Qala Ibrahim alayhi salam, he said, Oh my Lord, make this city, Mecca, a place of peace and security, and keep me and my own sons away from committing shirk. Ibrahim alayhi salam, who was a Nabi, if he had this fear and keeping himself free and his own sons away from nifaq and kufr and shirk, then who are you and me then? If the Sahaba, they had this fear, and the Anbiya, they had this particular fear, and if we don't have this fear, then there's something very wrong. Imam Malik, he said, the people who come after will never be corrected until they go back to those in the past, those who were from the past. They need to go back to the people of the past, meaning the Salaf wa Salih, and look to what kind of taqwa they used to have. And the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he also used to make dua for always for the Muslims, not just himself, but for the Muslims to die in a state of Iman and Tawheed. In Riyadus Salihin, this is the book of visiting the sick, hadith number 936. Look to the dua of Rasulullah. He said, "O Allah, forgive our living and our dead, our present and our absent, our young and our old, our male and our female." Look to his dua. He's asking forgiveness for everybody. "O Allah, whoever from amongst you, or amongst us, you choose to keep alive, then keep him alive upon Islam. And whoever you cause to die, then let him die in a state of Iman. O Allah, do not deprive us of our reward and do not subject us to trials, ibtila, test, after his death." Meaning what? Azab al-Qabr, the punishment of the grave. What's the questioning of the grave? Who is your Lord? Who is your messenger? What was your deen? You're going to be asked about all of this, and you need to be aware of all of this. So if there was no possibility ever of anybody becoming kafir or munafiq, then Rasulullah would never have made this dua, that those who are living, let them be in a state of Islam, and those who die, then let them die in a state of Iman. Let them die in a state of what? Of goodness. And that's why we should always make the dua for each other as well as for our own selves, that let us die in a state of Iman, and let us do those actions inside this life which are good for our own hereafter. And that's one way of working out whether you should go near something or stay away from something. And I remember this from many years, as one brother, he said to me, do that which is good for your own deen. If there's something that you got as a problem in your own life and you're finding, what should I do about this? Let's say, for example, I'll give you a common everyday example, and this can occur with any brother. A brother, he was jahil, he starts practicing the deen, but he's got a girlfriend, and he says he's in love with her. It's from shaitan anyway, because you can't love somebody who's not practicing. Love is for the sake of Allah. So if you love your wife, you love her for the sake of Allah because she's practicing. If your wife doesn't cover, how are you going to love her? What kind of love is that? The man doesn't love a prostitute, does he? So how are you going to love someone like that? Yeah, it doesn't mean that someone who doesn't cover is a prostitute necessarily, but the one who practices tabarruj. And you know what tabarruj is? Tabarruj is being dressed, but you are naked at the same time. So you are covered, could be, but tabarruj is like you're dazzling. So a woman leaves the house and she wears perfume, for example, or she beautifies her own self, which is only for her own husband. Anyone who smells her, this woman, she won't smell the paradise. She's guilty of almost like fornication, not literally, but she's on that type of degree. So this tabarruj is very dangerous. So we need to fear, and we need to make dua then that we die in a state of Iman, that we are able to answer the questions of the grave, and that we're able to know the characteristics of the coconut Muslims. What are then the characteristics of the Muslims? And now you will begin to understand why this topic was difficult, because I didn't know where to start from. Which one is the biggest one? I don't know. I can't answer it. What's the biggest characteristic of the coconut Muslim, the munafiqeen? Probably, most likely it is that they deceive Allah. They seek to deceive Allah and the Messenger and the believers, but they only deceive themselves. They think they're Muslims, but they're not. Not necessarily we're saying that every single one here is a kafir, but I decided to leave that for perhaps towards the end of the subject, because it has so much gravity. Because if we mention it at the start, it will be forgotten at the end. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's almost as if I wanted to talk about Jahannam in any particular topic, but I may choose to leave it towards the end, because if that's what you go away with, that's something beneficial. That's something very good. Inshallah, all of the subject matter is beneficial. But if you're making notes, which some of you are, I can tell, then let's follow the order of what I'm talking about. And it doesn't matter if you miss one of those points, yeah? But each one of those points is important. So the first point, the characteristics of the coconut Muslims. First one is that they follow their own Hawah. They follow their own desires. And the reason why I chose this one as the number one characteristic is, as Ali bin Abu Talib, he said, the number one enemy of the Sunnah is al-Hawah, following of your own desires. Imam Abu Hanifa, he said, and this is recorded in Kitab al-Siyar by Imam Shaybani, whoever worships whatever he likes and follow whatever he likes and submits to whatever he likes, he will make his own Hawah like a ilah, like a god. Whoever worships whatever he wants, then he will take his own Hawah as a God besides Allah Azza wa Jal. And from his mouth, this is not Imam Abu Hanifa, this is me now, by the way, I'm not Imam Abu Hanifa, just in case, yeah. From his own mouth, from the person who follows his own Hawah, everything will be directed in that particular direction. Everything will be dictated by that, by his own Hawah, by his own tongue, it will come out. How do you know the man is following his own desires? Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit peckish today. What do you feel like having? I'm thinking of having a tuna sandwich from Subway. Sounds good. What are you going to have? KFC. KFC. Yes, yeah, Sheikh. KFC is haram. I know, but Colonel, you know, mashallah, he's got big lahya. You know, the one, the Colonel, Colonel Mustafa, I don't know what his name is. Colonel, whatever, Saunders, whatever his name is. The Colonel, the KFC Colonel, he's got big lahya. He just needs to trim his mustache. Yaki, but this one is haram. Okay, there's no, you know, halal certificate on this, unstunned meat, nothing like that. This one is clear cut haram. Yaki, but zinger burger, you know, tastes very nice, you know. Smell of chicken. What can I do? It's very good. What can I do now? My stomach is shrinking now. Or he goes to McDonald's and he feels a little bit shy, you know, he's trying to hide it from everybody. He knows deep down it's haram. Can I take your order, please? Yeah, the woman, can I take your order, please? Yeah, and he's like, one large milkshake, large fries, and a double cheeseburger. What? Sorry, what did you just say? Large what? Fries? Milkshake? Yeah, large milkshake, fries, double cheeseburger. What? Double cheeseburger? I thought you're Muslim. That's not allowed for you. There's nothing called halal there. I'm just going to say Bismillah and then eat it. This is the man who follows his own Hawah. When there's something haram there, but he follows his own desire, it's like an ilah for him. Meaning he worships what? He worships his own stomach and he worships his own private parts. So the zina is very easy for him to go near. The haram is very easy for him to go near. Yaki, I know this is wrong. Allah Ghafur Rahim, Bismillah. Come on, you can't do that now. How are you going to do that? How are you going to have this like Big Mac though? It's Big Mac though, you know, they don't have the same burger sauce inside the other halal shop, you know, unless they can make it like that, then I don't know what to do. Then when all else fails and you tell him, Yaki, you know, the one who consumes haram, his salah not going to be accepted for 40 days. The one who drinks hamr. Imagine dying in that particular state and your body was intoxicated with hamr, alcohol. Alhamdulillah, never tried hamr in my life. Disgusting smell. And even when I was in college and I wasn't practicing at that time, someone tried to offer me cigarettes. I didn't know how to smoke. So it wasn't never going to work out. That's pretty good, isn't it? Allah saved me, you know, see? Allah loves me, you see? I didn't know how to smoke. So he's like, Ya Aki, you don't know how to smoke. He didn't say Ya Aki, but you know, what's wrong with you? You don't know how to smoke. I don't know how you do this business. How much does this cost? What? It's £3.20 or something. I don't know how much it was. £3.20. What do you do with this? So what do you get out of it? Well, you light it, it goes in, it goes out, and smoke comes out of your mouth. So what? Do you get some like, do you feel like nourished after this? It's like nourishment drink, because that's good. Like you can have that milkshake and you feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm going to go to the gym now. Pre-workout kind of thing, isn't it? But what's this one? You cough, you get cancer, and if you have a baby, the baby's probably going to be dead or be born blind or something like that, or walking with one leg or something like that. And what's this nonsense? And you spend money for that, £4.20 on that, and you get drunk and you end up saying things which you don't want your friends to know. Glug glug glug. Peter, you know, I've always found you kind of attractive. What? And he's like, what? Huh? What? And he goes, don't tell anybody. I won't tell anybody. Boy, he's straight on the Telegram group, on his WhatsApp group, and he's telling everybody, yeah. John over there, you know, he's a bit, you know, he's a bit funny, you know, he's been on the swings too long, you know what I'm saying? He's been swinging too hard, yeah? So he doesn't know what's going on. So this person, look to the corruption of the hamr, what it does. Brings out all of this dirtiness about the person. Some people just say it makes me relax, makes me feel at ease. But like I say, if you want to know the honesty of a man, get him drunk. Get him drunk. If there's someone you don't know, I love the Muslims. I'm going to help them a lot inside Palestine. Give me one bottle of champagne. Well, I'm going to bomb them. I'm never going to help them. I'm not going to do nothing for them. That's the reality. That's the truth. Because he's a kafir. That's why. So from his mouth, everything will be dictated by his own desires. Another example of that nowadays is in, I heard this a few years ago, there was a fatwa which came out in the London borough of Whitechapel, which is not a Muslim area, by the way. It's a disgusting area. You go there in the middle of the night and you'll find rats running around, walking around as if they're men, honestly. The rats, they walk around. I've seen a rat running around there. I was with your brother, in fact. I was running around and there's one rat there and he's walking around on two legs and both his arms are out and he's like looking at us like, what? Ooh, is there trouble? Or you want it or something like that. I'm thinking, what's this? Rats are walking around so brave. We're going near the PFC shops, you know, one leg up and urinating inside your own chicken wings and with your own chips, and then people are coming out with all kinds of problems. And like recently a man was prosecuted. In fact, one of the owners of these dirty restaurants, because he gave a burger with chips and one cockroach inside their own meal. And these are the kind of things that you'll get. But in that particular area, amongst the many vices and corruptions that you have in the London borough of Whitechapel, I think it's called Whitechapel, Tower Hamlets, they have this fatwa from some of these coconut Muslims that you can have something called a nikah friend.
Huh?
Nikah friend. Nikah friend is someone that you're engaged to marry, but you haven't had nikah yet, but you can go out and do whatever you want. So you can go out dating. You can go to, it's a bit like that, yeah. But it's basically you can do anything you like, but you don't break off the nikah, but you get married eventually. This is completely wrong. So people who follow their own desires, they do this. Like people, they say, I find it very ajib today. A brother's got a profile picture of himself with a big lahya, a big thobe, and his arms, you know, not here, but here, yeah. And he's showing himself, he's praying the salah. By the way, you don't put your hands all the way up here, by the way, when you pray, yeah. If you want to know about the kamal of the salah, is for this part to reach this hand, and you have it on your own chest. You can pray like this, you can pray like this, you can pray like that. That is the best way to have the hands in the salah. All right, here, the microphone is. I'm just trying to protect it. So you don't have it like that. You don't pray like that, by the way. Yeah? You don't go like that. You don't. No. There's correct procedure of how the hands need to be. The hands where they need to reach. Yeah, up to the earlobes. So people they say, Agi, do you know about the fiqh of salah? You talk about takfir. Yeah, I'll do all of that. How about that? Then after, can we call you kafir as well after that? You see? So we don't try and play games with us. Yeah, they connect two different topics which are not even related together. Why are you connecting wudu and takfir? What's that got to do with one another? So because you know how to do wudu, you can make takfir now? I don't know. Stay calm. Make takfir. Then do wudu. You see? Be Muslim. Then purify your own self. Yeah? When the person you meet him on a dawah stall and then says, John, I really think that you should embrace Islam. But do you know about the actions of wudu? No, you just tell him to do the shahada. Then afterwards you teach him about wudu, isn't it? So don't go back to front, isn't it? Okay? So this idea of nikah friend is complete rubbish, which people they have. Yeah? They say you can have a nikah friend. Yeah, or another one is, for example, Yaki, what we're going to do is we're going to try and build our relations with the non-Muslims, and you know, condemnations ain't working out because of this event or that event. So what we're going to do is we're going to have one sister, and she's going to wear an American flag as a hijab, and this is following your own desire. Following your own desire. But going back to the issue of the Facebook, what I was talking about, in fact, it's very shameful nowadays that you find a brother with a beard and a thobe and he's got all of the sunnah on him on his profile picture, and when you look at his about section on Facebook, it says in a relationship, or it's complicated. What do you mean? Those options, I know it gives you various options on the Facebook. It says married, not married, divorced. Fine, if you want to put divorced, put it, but I wouldn't do that anyway. Why you want to advertise to the whole world you're divorced? Everyone's going to be pointing a finger towards you. Either you're married or you're single. But what's this complicated in a relationship or in relationships? A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah. This is completely wrong. Taqillah ya shaykh. This is completely wrong. Allah said about the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that nothing comes out from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam except that it is wahi. So whatever we say must be what? Truthful. Okay. Rasulullah, so we mentioned here that Allah said that nothing comes out from the mouth of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam except there is wahi. So before I do any particular action, I should ask myself, allowed, not allowed? Allowed, not allowed? Is it halal, is it haram? Every action requires what? Hukum shari'i. It's not a matter of that we just make it up as we go along. We need to know what is right, what is wrong in order to stay away from it. And that requires what? What's the cure then for the Hawah? Is what? Al-ilm. Knowledge. Studying the deen of Allah. Look to the book of Al-Ibana. Imam Ibn Bata' al-Akburi, he said, do not sit with the people of Hawah. Don't debate with them. I'm afraid that they could make you engage in their dalala or confuse you away from the truth. Because if you actually think about it, this Hawah is what? It's not a matter of desires. It's rational desires. Why? Because they use their own ration, their own aql to justify their own particular haram. So the ulama, what did they say about Hawah? You must stay away from it. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, do not sit with the people of Hawah. If you sit with them, your own heart will become sick. Your own heart will become sick. And one of the ulama of the Salaf, he said, And I wish I knew who this was, but I found this quotation, and it's a very beautiful quotation. By Allah, this scholar, he said, if the monkeys and the pigs were to become my neighbors, that would be better and more dearer to me than a person of Hawah, of his own desires. Meaning what? It's better for you to have a neighbor who's a pig or a monkey. Some of you probably already got that anyway. It doesn't make a difference anyway, yeah? Maybe some telefi, yeah? Or some ape, grand ape, from Hayat al-Kabad al-Ulama, which is living next door to you with one eye, and a stick inside his own hand. He's walking backwards and bumping his head, yeah? Right? Better for you to have someone like that than a person of Hawah, of own desires. What then is the cure for the Hawah, the desires? And I will finish it here for today's session. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in chapter An-Nisa, verse 65, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَاكِمُوكَ فِي مَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا مِمَّا قَضَيْتَ وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. But know by your Lord, O Muhammad, they cannot have any iman. They cannot have any iman inside their own hearts until they make you a judge in between their own disputes, and they refer to them. And inside their own hearts, they do not find any hikd, any grudge. Because what did we talk about? Al-Hawah. The moment you give him the evidence, the adillah, the dalil, he says, Yaki, but KFC Zinger Burger is so good. I don't know why I do this with the Zinger Burger. Yeah, but this one, KFC, haram, I know, nikah friend, but I'm still on my first gaze, when he should be lowering his own gaze. All of this haram. I mean, you can think of the Hawah, and I'll let you think in your own, own time. Think of some examples of how people, they follow their own Hawah. It is endless, my dear brothers. It is endless how people, they follow their own desires and justify their own desires and following their own desires. Yaki, but what can we do? What can we do? I'll tell you what you can do. You can follow chapter Nisa, verse 65. Muslim is what? Muslim is somebody who practices Islam, submission to the commandments of Allah Azza wa Jal. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, Deen is what you believe in, at-Tawheed, live by Sharia and willing to sacrifice and die for. Meaning what you believe in, it must be manifested. Don't have this separation. Have something called at-talaazum. Talaazum bayna dahir wal batin. Talaazum, molding between your inner and your outer. What you believe inside your own heart. Alhamdulillah, you have iman. Testify it by your own tongue, and practice what? Willingly by the limbs. The practice willingly by the limbs is what is called iman, is what is called ihsan. So we need what? Ihsan. Ihsan is the practice of Islam, as if you see your Lord, but you can't see your Lord, but your Lord, he sees you. So we need to know about what? And I've just touched upon one of the characteristics. What was the characteristic of the coconut Muslim that we studied today? Al-Hawah, following of his own desires. We will continue next week, and the next point, you can write it down, which we're going to study in next week's session, is called, one of the characteristics of the coconut Muslims is they claim wisdom and moderation, and you're going to love that one, trust me. Inshallah. Anything good I said is all from Allah. Any mistakes that are all by my own will break now for Salah. Jazakallah khairan. Wa sallallahu Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.